Welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast, your home for inspiring conversations with outdoor insiders. Each week, author, speaker, adventurer, and outdoor industry veteran Rick Saez talks in depth with iconic brand founders, sales and marketing pros, product designers, and industry rising stars. Listen in when Rick's guests offer actionable advice to land your ideal industry gig and grow your outdoor career. Catch us again when the conversation shifts to the hottest outdoor products, destinations, and the latest industry insights. And now, here's Rick.
Welcome to episode 293 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Matt Dobrowolski from Envoy B2B, Rumpl's Patrick O'Neill, buyer Jill Jacobson from Bill & Paul Sporthaus, and Michael Stevens from sales agency True North. We talk about trade shows, what's working, how they facilitate buying and selling, and what we can improve on. Brought to you this month by Envoy B2B. Hey everyone, welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast. This is going to be an exciting episode, and I'm happy to chat with all you guys about trade shows. This is going to be a fun conversation. I think there's a lot of hot button topics around these things, some new shows, some old shows. I think all of them have room for improvement, as everything has room for improvement. And we'll just chat about a lot of stuff and share our thoughts with everybody. Let's start with the 2-minute version of how you were introduced to the outdoors and what are you doing in your current role? Jill, you want to kick us off?
Sure. I've been working for an outdoor store called Bill & Paul Sporthaus for, I think, 27 years now, which is a little crazy. But I have done everything from sales, merchandising, whatever. I am currently a buyer for both stores. We opened up a new store, and I just started buying specifically only for that store.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get introduced in the outdoors? Back when you were a kid, what was your first outdoor experience that got you hooked? Just outdoor lifestyle, hiking, skiing, whatever it might have been.
Probably through skiing. I grew up skiing with my dad. And when I moved to Grand Rapids, Michigan, this was the ski shop. And so we spent a lot of time in there buying skis and doing whatever. So you got to know the family. They've been in business since 1961. And best ski lesson ever was the original owner of the store.
Oh, cool. That's a great experience, I'll bet. Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. And Patrick, how about you?
Yeah, so I grew up in Southern Oregon, but my dad's from Northern California, and his big Irish family, and my grandfather was an avid backpacker, and their family would do summer backpacking trips in the Sierras every summer. And we continued that with our extended family. So we would go on these large family backpack trips every summer in the Sierras, a lot of times in Yosemite, Kings Canyon. So it was a great intro to the outdoors.
My backyard. Nice.
Yeah. So it was really fun and learned from someone who knew a lot about it. And then now today I work at Rumpl. Rumpl makes blankets for everyone. We are founded in the outdoor space, and our product can really be used in any scenario, whether you're going to the park, your patio, or camping, backpacking, where we came out of and where our love really is in outdoor. And I oversee all of our, I used to oversee all of our operations. Now I oversee all of our revenue at Rumpl. So all of our revenue channels. So
Gotcha.
Used to saying operations, but now it's our revenue driving functions.
Is that a pretty new role?
It is a new role. I've been overseeing our sales team for the last year, but recently we did a little restructuring. We brought on a great operations, and I've moved to oversee all of our direct consumer channel, our wholesale channel, and then we just released some NFL license blankets that we distribute, as well as some custom products we do.
Very cool. I have one of your blankets. Yeah. Thank you. Those are pretty cool little
awesome
comfy things. Yeah. Mike, tell us your story. How about you?
Oh man, when I think back, I think I was first introduced to the outdoors when my mom would kick me out of the house in the summer and say, come back in 10 hours. And so
come back when the lights go off.
Totally. So you had to figure it out, and really found a passion for being outside. I was a runner growing up, trail runner. I've been able to take that and that passion and bring it to my everyday work life.
Cool. And what's your everyday work life? What are you doing these days?
Actually, about 8.5 years ago, founded True North. It's a sales and consulting firm up here in the Northwest, out of the Seattle area. And we represent a number of great brand partners. But it all started actually selling one pair of shoes at a time on the Nordstrom floor. So I've been in the footwear industry for 26 years and then jumped into the outdoor industry about 18 years ago. And it's been a lot of fun since then.
Cool. Yeah. I don't think I knew you were a Nordstrom's guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got to work together for about 5 minutes when I was with the Mountain Lab, and we were doing Fond of Bags, I think it wasn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Cool. Matt, what's your story?
Yeah, just like any young ski bum, I was completely influenced by the Warren Miller movies and stories. And I was just graduated from high school. I decided to take the trip out west and move to Lake Tahoe, California, and follow my dream of being that epic ski bum. So I lived out there for a few years, and that kind of spawned my love and passion for everything outdoors. So that's what really got me going in the industry. I started a ski shop out there and did that whole thing, and in turn just kept my life moving forward as an outdoor industry aficionado. So I've been involved in the outdoor industry since I was literally 19, which brings me to my current role as the sales manager here for Envoy B2B. So.
Nice. Good. Welcome. Good to have you on again. We've done a few of these. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Let's kick it off with trade show formats and whatnot. We've all been attending many different formats of shows over the years. Some of us, they've changed and morphed. What are the most impactful shows for your business? Like national shows, Outdoor Retailer Big Gear Show, or buying group shows, or regional trade shows? Mike, you want to kick that off as a sales rep? I won't speculate on what your answer is.
Yeah, I mean, it seems that it always fluctuates. I find that they're all important in different facets. My end goal is to show up and have the best representation for our brand partners, but also meet our buyers and the owners and where they need to be seen and where it's the best opportunity to put the plan together. Currently, what's leading for us is the regional trade shows. They've really come on strong over the last few years and have been a great place to really be able to work the plan. National trade shows are a lot of fun and can be a great time to recap, a great time to strategize. But I feel like that the nitty gritty work is done at the regional. But there's also a lot of store visits. And showroom as well, which can be an impactful way to meet the customer.
Is the value from the regional show the fact that it's just less busy?
I wouldn't say less busy because
right. That's what I said.
Right?
Yeah. You're probably more busy.
It's more busy, but I think that it's just more focused.
Yeah, I gotcha. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Yeah. And Patrick, how about you?
Yeah, we view it in a couple different ways. Big national trade shows as a small brand entering the outdoor industry have been crucial to getting our footing and making connections, whether with maybe potential hires, sales agencies, retail partnerships, other brand partnerships. At Rumpl, we do a lot of brand collaborations. So shows like OR have been absolutely vital in our ability to create those connections. But really, as we're looking forward, we see what Mike sees, right? That there's more business, actual transaction of dollars happening at the regional shows, and it's more focused. We can have those one-on-one conversations and spend more time with our retail partners and understand their needs and have those in-depth conversations and see how we can work to grow our business together. But those national shows, really for us, we were actually having a conversation the other day internally about how do we approach OR and other large shows in the future. And the conclusion that I came to in that discussion was, if and when we go back to OR, because we want to treat our employee safety first, through COVID, that we will treat it really from a marketing side, that it is our marketing team is going there to make brand connections. We're going there to maybe have side interviews if we're recruiting people, et cetera. But it is not really from the sales side. We'll have our new product there. We'll have the opportunity to make those retail connections, but those regional shows are where we're probably going to put more investment and more time to make sure we're present. It's easier for people to get to, and we can really talk business and have those more intimate conversations.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
As a buyer, completely agree. The regional shows are where we are working. It's a working show, and it's appointment after appointment. It's where we're looking at everything, where we're deciding everything, truly. Also, we do have some in-store, and there's some showrooms here. We're fortunate there are a lot of people who, for our territory, are located pretty close to where we are. So we can do a lot of in-house, just going to their showroom or going even to their house or their whatever, or they rent a hotel room. We go.
Right.
The national shows, it's important for us, for me anyway, as a buyer, that's where I find something that's a little more unusual or different. Regional shows, I'm going to go to my same people that I go to every year, same reps, same everything, maybe see something new, but not a lot. And so I need the national shows big shows so that I find new stuff, because I don't want to be stale and I don't want the store to become stale. So
that makes sense.
I don't know. But the national show, it's not as working. I agree. It's more marketing and it's more just finding new stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep. Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's interesting because my current role as a sales manager with Envoy is definitely different from my past. Previously I was a buyer, I was a sales rep. I've done a little bit of all of that. And I agree with everyone here in the sense of the impact of these shows are quantifiable in all aspects. I definitely see for myself, the national trade shows are the places where I'm going to see similar, the new and up and coming brands. The relevance of the A-type brands is less, I think, more and more as we're moving forward on these national shows. Their marketing presence is already so strong that we're seeing less of an impact of them on the trade show floor. Coming from outdoor retailer this summer, what I was seeing is brands that I did not know existed. I've never seen them before. And both, it's interesting, and I think there's reason to that, but it's also talking with a lot of buyers. It was a cool place to see stuff that they didn't know existed, similar to myself. I think on the business end of it, though, the shows that are truly quantifying themselves as far as the retailers investing to go, the brands investing to, it's exactly what both Mike and Jill are talking about. It's working shows where we're actually writing orders, we're actually going to merchandise. Those are the places where the business is being made. And in turn, that's where I see the best direction investment. I think with my position currently, it's how do we facilitate the balance of that so we can bring in marketing assets and showcase that on our digital platform, but also have it really functioning and working for truly the most important person in this conversation. And that's, to me, the retailer. And those they keep us afloat and they keep the industry alive. And I think, again, that's where these smaller format shows with more true buying focus is pivotal to, especially in the here and now with the pandemic and all of that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about, so we still go to the national trade shows. Do you guys, so Patrick, maybe you can kick this one off, have a smaller footprint at a national show than you will at a regional show? And then for the rest of you, will you take less people to the regional show and more people to the regional show and less people to the national show? Let's take that angle. Patrick?
I don't think we know I don't think we'll have a smaller footprint at the national show than a regional show. I think we'll work with our agency partners and our rep partners on the regional shows and come to life with them there as a brand. I don't think that saying it's more marketing focused makes it like less of a presence. It's just entering the show. What is our intent? What is our planning? How are we talking about our products? Who attends? Things like that. So probably a smaller sales footprint, but a larger partnerships and marketing and general business footprint. And the stories we're telling will be probably less product focused and more brand focused, for example.
Gotcha.
But we don't have an answer here.
Remains to be seen. So, yeah. It's early days. No, I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And Jill, from a buying perspective, it's probably, you don't have an army of buyers, I don't think, but will you take less folks to a national show since you're just going to walk around and look for new products than you would a regional? You take more people to the regional to get the work done?
For sure. We do actually we're not that small, but we have a shoe buyer, we have a foot buyer, we have several buyers, but yes, we would take less people depending on which show it is nationally and what is it focused on. I'm more clothing, soft goods, that kind of thing, the fluffy part, shall we say. So if it's a more equipment based thing, I'm probably not going to go for national. If the guys want to skip the clothing stuff, they'll skip that. So yeah, we would bring fewer. We're also small enough. We need the manpower in our store. So it depends on the dates too.
Right.
We have a regional show that's in December. It's the worst because that's busy time. It's Christmas.
Yeah, all hands on deck.
Out of the store, you just can't do it. So we'll have people go to the regional show for one day in December, and they're there literally from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. nonstop, no lunch, because we can only afford to get rid of them for one day because we're in the store. And so even there, it just depends. I would say fewer for national, more for regional, just because it's easier and we can do it in a day.
Mm-hmm.
We can go back more easier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Matt, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, obviously a little different from my perspective. The big one for Envoy and my current role, the national show is truly, it's my FaceTime. It's FaceTime with getting to say hello to our current clients, shake hands, all of that. There's a lot of difference when we're not working as face-to-face as a software company, as you would see from like a true clothing or hard goods vendor. So having that FaceTime at a national show is very important for me. The other one that I personally don't see as much on the regional level is just that pulse on the industry. Everybody is so heads down focused. Workbooks or digital workbooks are out. At the national show, you definitely get more of a pulse and kind of vibe on what's happening in the industry. What are people saying? What's the big key terms or technology? It's more in your face. And I think, again, that goes back to those just being a little bit more marketing focused. And people, again, are just less heads down in the books, really, truly working. So it definitely very different from my perspective at this point in time than as a buyer or as a sales rep. They each have their place, and I think it's an interesting one moving forward. What's going to be the best for everyone?
Mm-hmm. Mike, how about you? You guys probably have to go to all of them, right?
We do, but we don't always send everyone to every show. It really comes down to efficiency and just making sure we have the right coverage. There are times when an OR is happening that we can cover with less people, and someone else can be at home on the road, making an impact. And it fluctuates, and we do what we feel gives the best show and best opportunity.
That makes sense.
When I think about the differences, Matt, you talked about heads down at the regional shows. I find regional shows is a great opportunity to hoop and holler and give a lot of high fives as well.
Celebrate the wins. That's awesome. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. And what are the shows doing, do you think, right now? What is OR doing? What are the big gear show do? What are the regional shows doing? What's working for all these shows? Mike, you want to kick us off on that one?
On the regional show, I think what's working or what they're doing, I think about Cami at WWSRA and how she reaches out to the collect rep groups and gets a finger of the pulse of when we need the show to be, right? And a production calendar is always changing, and with the additional supply chain issues, we need to be aware of that. And for us, making sure that these shows happen at a time where we can not stress our retailers out and say, hey, we need your order tomorrow, but also make it where it works for Jill. It's tricky as a retailer and with staffing issues and you name it. So I think the regional show allows that a little bit more flexibility potentially to adjust. So that's what's working for me there.
Okay, gotcha. Patrick, how about you?
We haven't been to a show now for a year and a half outside of regional shows.
Yeah.
So I can't really speak to the large shows as far as what they're doing. I agree with Mike where the smaller regional shows, just that closer pulse and understanding of the needs of all the parties that they're serving and reaching out and understanding that is very good in this very dynamic and fluid situation. So I think that is great. I believe I could speak to the things that I feel like that could be done better, but I'll hold off if we get to that in a future question. And I think impact though is trade shows can be very energizing. You can see people interact with the brand, and that is when that happens. That is a well-run trade show, and so seeing that impact, seeing the excitement around the brand and the industry, et cetera, is really, really impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what's energizing for me about these trade shows. It's just the gathering of the community. It's just fantastic. Yeah. Jill, how about you? What's working for you at these?
The regional shows, like I said before, it's just very efficient as a buyer to knock off a lot in a short period of time. I can get a lot of appointments done and see a lot of stuff. It gets a little overwhelming at times, but that's okay. And it's very efficient. Same with me. I haven't been to a big show in a while. I'm looking forward to hopefully going to one shortly here, and let's hope, fingers crossed, it all still goes. But that, like I said before, that's where I see new stuff and meet new people in the industry. The regional shows I know those people, I've known them for years, which is great. It's familiar, it's wonderful, but the big shows, it's fun to see and interesting to learn more of what's out there outside of your own region and what everything is going on, what's going on nationally and globally, really, because it's really turned more global. There's companies from all over the place there.
Yeah, I think my response to that is truly everything that all of us are saying here. It's big picture. It's the unity of the industry. When all of us unite in a place, if it's national, regional, whatever, the pulse is ramped up. Everybody's excited. We leave that show ready to go and ready to be excited about the outdoor industry. I think coming through the pandemic, it's the biggest thing all of us are missing. If you're in the outdoor industry or not, it's that personal interaction. And seeing that from all my friends that went to the big gear show, coming even from the small regional shows, they leave those shows and there's a stoke level, there's an excitement, just being united with their colleagues. And I think that's where the wins are happening right now. And that's, what's continuing to drive the industry forward. And I think that's one of the most important aspects to this. I think Rick might have us all by a few years, but the I've been around long enough to say the old school state of the
What are you
outdoor
saying,
industry.
Matt? What are you saying?
I always have to heckle a little bit.
That's good. I like it.
But the old school presence of the outdoor industry was really unified with one another. We all did a little bit more of a build each other up and work together for the true passion here. And we're all in this because we love the outdoors, not because we're billionaires.
That's true. I think that's true. Let's talk about what improvements you would like to see at the shows, or what would you like to see for the future of trade shows? How would you like to see those things morph? Jill, you want to kick us off with that one?
I think for us as buyers, the biggest problem we have is, like I said before, scheduling. And I know, one show's at one time, one show's another time. I've got 2 weekdays. I have to be in one state, and then 2 days later, I got to be in another state. The scheduling of it is very frustrating as a buyer. And I would like to see that. I don't know how to fix that though. So They're all independent. They're all doing their own thing, but I just feel that to me is where I'd like to see the most improvement.
Scheduling, that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
can get to them, and I can get to them and be efficient when I'm there, I guess is what I would like to see.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Mike, how about you?
I've been sitting on the edge of my seat waiting to hear what Patrick has to say.
You want to switch to Patrick? You get to go then.
I think the biggest thing to me as far as improvement as we're coming out of COVID, this is me speaking personally. This is not a brand. I was really pretty upset with the way OR handled COVID. I thought it was extremely poorly done. It's one of the reasons we did not attend. The fact that they did not require masks with Delta surging was extremely irresponsible. It really upset me. We actually ended up attending a show in New York that is outside of the outdoor industry because they required masks. Everyone, regardless of vaccination status. Mm-hmm. And so I think that needs to be taken more seriously, even as we're going into winter OR, that the safety of our employees, the safety of all of our employees, the safety of our industry and our friends needs to be paramount. And that needs to be the first thing that's being looked at. And so that is the main thing as we're coming out of this. We don't know. It's changing so fast. We need to be it needs to be planned better for safety of everyone first. Mm-hmm. And then business, and then, or whatever the order is that you put after that. But really, we need to put safety first. And I thought that was extremely irresponsible. So that's the main thing I would say on improvement. As far as like industry going forward outside of that, I think it's interesting, some of the things that are trying to be done with digital tools. Obviously, we have Matt here from Envoy. I don't love the idea of saying this is the platform we're using as a show, get on this platform, or this is the platform we're using as an industry. I get the idea from that side, from the vendor side, of saying we're gonna sign this agreement. It's gonna help us get more people on board. But as a brand, integrating technology is extremely expensive and time consuming. It's one of the biggest investments we make. Right. And so the idea that we're going to institute a platform that you use to order from the show, that only helps the brands that are already on that platform. It's not conducive to actually creating a better ordering experience. In my mind, I'm not on the buying side. Maybe Jill has a different perspective on that, but I know there are tons of platforms that buyers need to log into. But that idea of trying to centralize a buying system or centralize a digital platform, that's just another tool we need to spend up another like 4 to 5 months of investment in time and time and money we need to put in to spin up those specific like platforms that are being pushed based on the different shows. So I do think technology will play a role, but I hope it is a more flexible role, and it's done in a way that brands can bring to life whatever their platform they're using to do that. And so that'd be, I think there is a future to integrate technology more. Maybe it's the scheduling side like Jill alluded to, but I think the excitement of being in person is incredible. We've talked about, but safety needs to be first. So
Yep,
I went on a little bit there, but there's my
That's well said. That's well said. No, I think you clearly articulated that. Mike, now it's your turn.
Oh man, I really enjoy all the different trade shows there are now. So as a representative, as a brand representative side, as someone that's connecting with retailers, I don't know. I don't think there's anything from my side that I necessarily need to fix, other than the fact that safety is first. And so we have chosen at True North we haven't been to a regional show or an outdoor retailer since COVID started. And we've found other ways to represent our brands and meet our customers' needs. So we're excited as a team to get back in person. It's all about people, right? That's why we do this. It's the outdoor industry, but it's all about the people. And it's such a great community. Let's just make it be safe and let's get rolling again.
Yep, I like it. Yeah, it is about the community at the end of the day. We get a lot of business done there, but I think you guys are right on a lot of fronts. What drives this whole industry is the community and all the long-term friends, new friends. It's fantastic. Let's stay on the COVID theme a bit here. Matt, how do you think COVID's going to impact the future of show attendance? And then in the near, I don't know, probably like the next year at least. I'm sure.
I think it's a reality it's set in for all of us. We acknowledge the last, year and a half, almost, we're not far away from being 2 years into this, and not a lot of changes happen, which we've all adapted across the board. I think what's really going to come into play is continuing to heighten the hybrid model, being able to work through, obviously using a digital platform, make that as efficient as possible for the reps and the retail buyers, but also be able to heighten the sense of we still need the touch and the feel. We've acknowledged, I think when the pandemic started off, we were like, we can just do this perfectly from a digital perspective. And the quick realization is that buyers, reps, they still need to show you that color in person. They need you to touch that super soft, fuzzy fleece, as Jill was mentioning. So I think continuing to adapt and make the hybrid model of digital and in person more, just even more impactful, more efficient, which I think in turn from the top end down, it's a more cost-effective system of this. But then I think the other one is just focusing on when we do have these trade shows, just being smart about them. As Patrick was mentioning, we need to take the people that are attending into consideration. I think we can maturely facilitate these trade shows, but we need to be smart about it. And we do see how those shows quantify business for everyone attending, but we got to be conscious here. So I think really strategizing all of the tools we have developed in the last year and a half and in working with all of them. And that's going to be the best benefit of how we move forward through COVID.
Yep, that makes sense. Mike, how about you? Any more thoughts on COVID moving forward? Do you think it's going to be with us for a while? What things on the safety side did you see that you liked? I wish if you didn't go to shows, then.
I didn't go to shows.
Yeah.
I have a daughter who's not vaccinated. She's 9 years old. And for me, that's a huge concern of what I surround myself with and what I can bring home. My glass half full attitude is that we'll move away from COVID and whatever you want to put air quotes around new normal or whatever, we'll be back to what that stoke feel, and we'll all go back to the shows. And I think what people have realized is we do not need to necessarily spend a lot of money to show up at a big show, because we've been able to drive business. The outdoor industry is booming, right? People are getting outside and hiking and camping and backpacking, and we haven't been attending and spending those big dollars. So I could see a shift in that and how we spend our dollars to meet Jill and to meet our buyers and our retailers. But I still think there's a place for all the different kind of buckets that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. Jill, you got any thoughts on that one?
For us for it's interesting because every brand is different and how they act or how they have dealt with COVID is different. I know in my files of purchased orders, I have 85 different vendors at last count. With 85, they all do something differently.
Right.
One guy I'm meeting on his back deck of his house because of COVID. We want to be outside. And another guy is inside with his nose hanging out of his mask and spitting all over. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it would be nice. It's never going to be the same across the board. We're dealing with all different companies, all different attitudes, all different everything. My husband is compromised, so it makes me nervous. I don't particularly like going into a big, stuffy, convention center room where there's no ventilation. And I'm like,
right.
Oh. But I also have to buy for the store. I have no choice. I have to do it. So I have to, hopefully in the next year, I will say I feel the Zoom thing. It's good, but I have to touch it, feel it. Some companies I've been buying for forever. I don't have to necessarily see it because I already know and who I'm talking about. But others, I do need to see it. And anything new, I absolutely have to see it in person.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Like I said, I think everyone's handling it differently, and that as a buyer is a little frustrating because you don't know what you're walking into when you walk in as far as safety. I just went to a show in Chicago and it was supposed to be all masked up. I walked in, no one had a mask on. I'm like, okay, are you kidding? This is terrible. Oh gosh. But
yeah.
Hey, Jill, would it help if Matt and Envoy came out with a screen technology where if there was a fuzzy fleece, you could touch the screen and feel the softness?
That would be amazing, wouldn't it?
All right, Matt.
We're working on it right now. Don't worry.
You're on the spot.
I did have a couple companies that they were sending swatches, fabric swatches, which was that was very helpful. That's a lot of work though for the reps, and I'm sure it was costly for them to do it and difficult to get the fabrics in that way. But I had a few do that. That was good.
Yeah. And I think too, COVID is still relatively new for us. And we talk about COVID and all the vaxes and no vaxes and masks and no masks. And we've only been dealing with it for a year, maybe 2 years now. And the flu has been around for years. And we finally look at the flu and go, yeah, just get a shot and move on, or stay home and move on. So I think hopefully eventually in our lifetime, we will get to that with COVID, and sooner rather than later is with some of the medical technology, but who knows? Patrick, any thoughts on that? How do you think COVID is going to impact?
I hope that if the like Jill was saying, there was a show that masks were supposed to be worn, but Jill and Mike both mentioned their family, right? It does go beyond just the individuals we're talking about that we're meeting with. But if those things are followed and they're enforced, I hope we can be back in person. The stuff I read, the science I'm seeing is masks work, vaccines, if they're used. And so if we can be in person in that way, it's probably few less beers or coffees, but then we can still be back pretty soon here in person. I do, like I mentioned before, I think there will be the hybrid that Matt mentioned as well of using digital tools. I'm hoping that as well on the retail side that people start getting in person more for all our retail partners, and that people are getting outside more, which is helping our industry. I hope people realize the benefits of being outside, and that continues to grow and more people enjoy the outdoors. But I hope they can go and visit our retail shops as well and experience the product in person as they purchase it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like it. And this is a question I'm going to add just to wrap us up here, probably more to you, Patrick, and Mike, and maybe Matt. But when this thing first came on, one of the things as a photographer, and I'd shoot a little bit of video, that struck me was I thought it was going to be an immediate flip for reps and brands to create a lot of sales videos and training videos and things that they could send A, to their rep force, and B, to the retailer, so that they could do this digitally. Have you guys embraced any of those types of technologies yet? Do you plan to? Patrick, I'm going to go for that.
Yeah, we embrace a lot of digital technology in the way we approach things. So we, on our own direct consumer site on Rumpl.com, we have videos there that talk about how to use the product. We're using another platform, Endeavor, which allows training and us to upload videos there for store staff to go in and understand, watch videos. It also allows us to send people on what they call missions, so merchandising mission. Hey, we'll pay you $20 as someone who works in the store if you can take a picture of our display, our fixture right now, what it looks like, go in, re-merchandise it, send us a picture of what it looks like afterwards, and it's connected to Venmo, and it directly pays the employee.
Oh, cool.
So it's pretty cool. Like, we can reward staff as long as the retailer is okay with it. We can send those out, and we're testing one right now where we're paying $20 to merchandise our section in the store. We can do the same thing with inventory count. So using these tools, if we can't get in all the time to the stores, we can't have those in-person meetings, there are ways to do that. And we definitely are embracing it. As far as like video and training, a number of our rep partners and agencies created videos. One of our reps in the Southeast, Spencer Cook at Effort, he made an awesome video where he like got the box, unloaded it. His kids are playing with the blankets, and then he unloads and shows everything. And he sent that out to all his accounts. So very personalized. And so different ways people are embracing it in different ways.
Love it. Yeah. Mike, how about you guys?
Yeah, our brand partners definitely jumped on quick and built some phenomenal tools for virtual videos and so forth. What I found though is that Zoom fatigue and video fatigue came on pretty quick as well. And so for me, we did a lot of virtual showings, a lot of virtual meetings, but when we think back to this industry, it is about a community. And so I personally used that time to really just connect with that buyer, that owner for myself, because I needed it, because I was stuck in this room that I'm.
Yeah, right. We've all been stuck in.
And we all needed that kind of, I think we're all, a lot of us, not everyone, but a lot of us are people, or also just have long histories with each other. There was definitely a blend of using those tools, but also just finding this virtual time to just continue to work on the relationships.
Mm-hmm. Jill, did you see some things come from brands and reps on your side of the world? Did you get inundated with videos? Oh my God, here's another video I got to watch.
Absolutely. It was interesting to see who was doing it, who wasn't comfortable with it, who wasn't. Prior to COVID, as far as digital catalogs, all that was already starting just for environmental, because just to save on paper. And we were already starting a lot of that, which I'm old. So for me, it was, as old as I am, I was still fine with that, but that was good. So the Zoom was really the only addition, or the videos were the only addition as far as digital. It was interesting to see. I prefer, as a buyer, same thing. I want to connect with the rep and talk to him myself and ask some questions. So a Zoom was better than just a video. However, the videos were nice because I could go back if I thought of something, like as I'm writing my orders. Oh, let me look back to that. Let me see what that looked like. Let me see what they were doing. And so, I don't know, there were benefits to all of them. Mm-hmm. Like I said, everyone had their own different flair and how they did it. It's not consistent across the board by any means, but
I think it came on so quick. It was a shock to the system, and everybody was scrambling a bit. And some of us had to not only figure out what it is, but then learn it. So I'm a photographer, a still photographer, and then I do have cameras that shoot video. And now it's, I guess I better learn how to turn this thing on and shoot some video. So I'm sure a lot of brands and reps had that issue too. Matt, you got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think from our perspective at Envoy, it's really interesting is our focus going through this was exactly what both Mike and Jill are talking about. And that's the reality that the reps, the buyers still need personal time. So our focus going through this was, how can we make this as efficient as possible as you're doing orders in season replenishment, or you're going through the pre-line buy? How can we make this as simple, as efficient, so in turn you can give them more time to interact? Because it's what we found through all of our research, all of our interactions with industry leaders, buyers, rep agencies, in-house reps, is the most important thing continues to be the time that they can spend with each other. And the reality of that through the pandemic is it's probably over a Zoom. It's probably over a phone call. If they're struggling to get through an order because it's too complex on the platform, it's not efficient and it's not going to be beneficial for the big picture. So our focus going through this was really, how can we make it as easy as possible for the reps to create things like digital showrooms, suggested orders? How can we put on best imagery as possible? And we focus a lot of time in our photography department to really develop good, clean aesthetics. So on the platform, it's visually appealing, creating 360 views of most products, making that available. How can we make this as as easy for everyone. And again, so you can have more time with each other, because that's what we see. That's the most important thing.
So as we wrap up here,
Rick, can I add one quick thing?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's good. I just want to reiterate what Matt said. The tools that Envoy built as well were crucial for us during this time and will be going forward. That platform has streamlined our business incredibly. It saves us so much time on order entry, on presenting lines, on everything. So it does exactly what Matt said, which is allows us to have that time for connections versus just sitting at the keyboard, banging away, entering orders all day long, or struggling to put together an assortment that looks good. Screenshotting our workbook and then throwing it into a presentation and putting together an assortment is way easier in a platform that's designed to do it. So
makes sense.
It's been very helpful.
Yeah, cool. As we wrap up, let's start out with anything else you would like to ask or say of our listeners, and tell us about your next adventure. What are you doing outside? Jill, go for it.
Okay, I did just get back from Iceland, and this is what I would ask for anyone listening. Please get vaccinated, wear your mask so we can all get back together and do this. I will say they do it beautifully there. It's wonderful. Everyone's distance and everyone's taking care of and being responsible for others. And I just wish that we would all do that too so we can all get back together again. Where's my next adventure? Trying to go to Scotland because my daughter just moved there for grad school, and
fun.
Northern Scottish Isles, and we're going to try to go up there since she's there. So that would be fun. Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mike, how about you?
My next adventure, I'm actually doing rim to rim next month. FKT attempt, five dudes out for the day, having fun, taking pictures and tackling some miles.
Cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to ask or say to our listeners, or ask our listeners to say?
No, I'm just excited to see all of our listeners or everyone together again at some point in the near future.
Cool. Matt?
Yeah, I think exactly what everyone else is saying. As soon as we can all get back together, the more exciting it is for all of us. That's the big picture goal, I think, even outside the outdoor industry. So if we could all be responsible and thoughtful of each other, that makes the world right there. My next adventure, I actually head on a 10-day fly fishing trip to Iceland. So I'm following Jill a few weeks after, but we'll be headed there to literally do nothing but fish. So I'll head there in 2 weeks. Cannot wait.
Very fun. Patrick, how about you?
Nothing else to ask. I think, like everyone said, I'm just really looking forward to hopefully getting back together in a more meaningful way soon, safely. As far as next adventure goes, mid-move to Colorado. I've lived in either Oregon or California my whole life. And so exploring a new outdoor playground in Colorado. So I'm excited about that.
Very fun. And how can people follow up with you if they'd like to reach out directly?
You can my email is just patrick@rumpl.com. You can email me, follow Rumpl on Instagram, go Rumpl on Instagram, and go support our local retailers.
Cool. We'll link to that all in the show notes. Matt, how about you? How can they follow up with you?
Yeah, my email is just Matt Dobrowolski at envoyb2b.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as Matt Dobrowolski as well. Follow Envoy B2B on any of our social platforms. Just love to see all of you there as well.
Mike?
Email Mike at truenorthnw.com, truenorthnorthwest.com, or snail mail. I like postcards too.
Oh, all right, cool. Easy. We'll link to that in the show note. We'll put your address in the show notes too. Jill? No. Okay, we won't. Jill, how about you?
My email, jill@billandpauls.com. No apostrophe in there. And the and is spelled out. I mean, you can follow on Instagram or Facebook, either Bill and Paul Sporthaus or Beyond of Ada, which is our new little store that I'm working on.
Cool. It's been fun. Thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate this. Like I said, I'll follow up a bunch of times moving forward, and look forward to seeing you guys at the next trade show, or when you're down here in the Sierra Plain, or I'm in your neck of the woods.
Awesome.
Have a great day.
Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you'll find show notes with links to everything we talked about and more. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or spread the word and tell a friend about the show. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week. And thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Rick Saez.